All right, today we're going to dive deep into your DNA. We're going to uncover the story of a single ancient gene that is, and I mean this, absolutely essential for your survival. It's called RIG1.
But to really understand its power, let's start with a question. Just imagine for a second. What if you were born without an immune system? No way to fight off even the most common cold. Every single germ, every virus becomes a potentially lethal threat.
For some people, this isn't just a thought experiment. It's a terrifying reality. It's a genetic enigma that leaves the body completely and utterly defenseless. This condition actually has a name, Severe Combined Immunodeficiency, or SCID for short. It's a group of disorders caused by mutations in these really critical genes, and they effectively just shut down the body's infection-fighting cells. It's literally what happens when the immune system fails to launch.
So, what's the master key that unlocks our body's incredible ability to fight back? Well, it's a process that creates what we call your adaptive immune system. And you know what? It all comes down to one heroic gene.
Your body performs this amazing genetic trick called VDJ recombination. The best way to think about it is this. Imagine your DNA has a massive library of gene parts, these V, D, and J segments. Your immune cells grab these parts and just shuffle them, like a deck of cards, into countless new combinations. This whole process creates a unique, massive army of antibodies and receptors ready to recognize and fight pretty much any invader you will ever encounter in your life. Okay, so the crucial point is, what kicks off this whole shuffling process? That's RAG1. It is the genetic locksmith. It's the protein that walks up to those DNA libraries, unlocks them, and says, okay, let's start shuffling. Without RAG1, the library stays locked, that army is never built, and there is no adaptive immunity. Period.
It's an incredible system, right? But where did this master key even come from? Well, RAG1 isn't some newfangled evolutionary invention. It has a truly epic origin story. One that takes us way back, like 500 million years, to the dawn of complex animal life.
Just let that number sink in for a second. 550 million years. That's how long scientists think RAG1 and its essential partner, RAG2, have been working together. This isn't just old. This is a fundamental cornerstone of survival for every jawed vertebrate on the planet, all the way from sharks to us.
And this slide visualizes that history in a really fascinating way. What this evolutionary tree is showing us is that the RAG1 and RAG2 genes are physically stuck together, right next to each other, in the exact same orientation, all the way from ancient sea urchins to you and me. I mean, when a design is this successful, this critical for survival, evolution doesn't just keep it, it protects it fiercely. But here's a fascinating twist. While ROG1's function is ancient, its genetic blueprint has actually gotten simpler over time. In ancient creatures like the sea urchin, the gene's instructions were all broken up into coding pieces called exons, and they were separated by these non-coding interruptions called introns. But in humans and other tetrapods, it's become one single, streamlined, uninterrupted instruction. It's a rare and kind of beautiful case of evolution choosing a more efficient design.
Okay, so RAG1 has this ancient history, but what about its modern form? Let's jump back to the present and put the human RAG1 gene right under the microscope.
Now, when researchers from the 1000 Genomes Project looked at RIG1 across a whole bunch of different human populations, they didn't just find one version. They found 751 distinct variations in this single gene.
So what exactly is a genetic variant? Honestly, the best analogy is just a typo in the instruction manual of your DNA. Some typos are harmless, like a misplaced comma, but others, they can change the entire meaning of a really critical instruction. And this chart shows us the kinds of typos we typically see in RAG1. The vast majority, nearly 80%, are what we call SNPs. It's just a simple one-letter change in the genetic code. Much less common are the bigger errors, like entire words or even phrases being deleted from the instructions.
Now let's look at the machine that gets built from those instructions, the RAG1 protein itself. This map shows its different functional parts, or domains. See that big purple and blue section, the core RAG1 domain? That is the absolute engine of the whole operation. It does the cutting and pasting of the DNA. So it's really no surprise that typos in this critical region are often the most damaging.
And that brings us full circle. We started with the mystery of a broken immune system. We found the master key, RAG1.
So now, let's connect the dots and see exactly what happens when that key is broken by a single, tiny genetic typo.
Now, this is really crucial. Not all typos are equal. Some, which we call missense variants, actually change the protein that gets built. Scientists analyzed 267 of these, and they predicted that more than half, 140 to be exact, are deleterious. It's a scientific term, but it basically means, yeah, this typo will probably break the machine.
And this right here is where it all comes together. This table draws a direct line from a specific typo in a specific location to a devastating disease. A change at position 559 in the core domain, SCID. A typo at position 841, T-cell lymphopenia, a condition where you just have an abnormally low number of T cells. It's such a stark, powerful illustration of how one single letter change in our DNA can have these enormous, life-altering consequences.
You know, the researchers behind this analysis summed it up perfectly. Just about 50 of these specific typos are known to cause a whole spectrum of devastating immune disorders. The RAG1 key is so powerful, but its design is also so precise that it can be incredibly fragile.
So, from a 550 million-year-old evolutionary partnership, all the way down to a single life-changing typo in our modern DNA, the story of RAG1 is just a powerful reminder of the intricate, ancient secrets that our genome holds. It really makes you wonder, right? What other essential stories are just sitting there in our DNA, waiting to be read?